Good morning, Scribe.
Good morning, Patty. Good to be with you again.
So, today I have something different.
Okay.
Can you tell me about the BDSM scene before the heavy internet use like we have it today?
Yes, of course. It was a different world in those days, and I can only go on my own personal experiences.
Hmm.
Um, Let me take you back to 1988.
Ooh.
Scribe was a young spring chicken. He had hair, and he was good looking and slim, and I was invited to a party that I ostensibly thought was a house party, just a group of people. Went along with a lovely young lady who I was seeing at the time, who invited me to this party.
Hmm.
And we arrived at this house, and from round about 7:30 till 10 o'clock in the evening, it just seemed like a normal gathering of people having drinks, lots of introductions, hello, how are you, etc., etc. It seemed like a very, very normal party. At around 10 p.m., people started disappearing, and they were
Ooh.
disappearing upstairs, and the host started moving furniture. And I thought, being as naive as I was then, and not knowing anything about the lifestyle as such, um, I thought, oh, they're going to start playing party games, which of course they were, but not the
uh,
type of party games that I was
hmm.
expecting. There was no charades on the cards, so people started reappearing wearing various outfits or wearing not a great deal at all.
Hmm.
And there was an abundance of leather, and um, for the first time, I came into contact with cuffs and collars and people with some rather wicked things dangling from hands and belts and being placed on tables. So wide-eyed Scribe stood in one corner thinking, "Ooh, what's going on here?"
uh,
And the girl that I'd gone with came down wearing a very, very nice leather outfit.
Wait, so
Uh,
so you stood there in a corner, and the
uh,
girl you came with disappeared,
yes,
and you see all the people wearing these outfits.
yes.
Oh, oh.
Yes, so there I was, stood there watching all these things going on around me, and the young lady appeared, dressed from head to foot in leather, looking very, very attractive, I will say.
Ooh.
And it transpired that I had been selected as her new subby boy. So
Uh,
when that was explained to me, and when she explained what was going on, because poor Scribe was standing there with eyes the size of saucers and my jaw on the
uh,
floor,
I can picture it.
um, but also taking note that there were some very slinky outfits appearing on some of these ladies. Um, it became it became obvious that I wasn't quite prepared to be a subby boy. It was not in my nature. It was not
Hmm.
part of my makeup for that to go on. So that didn't happen, but it was an interesting evening. It was my introduction to an alternative lifestyle. From that moment on, once I became part of a group, people who, they could vouch for me, they said, yes, we know who he is, etc. I suddenly had access to this house party circuit.
Hmm.
And that is where the lifestyle was at the time. It was on house parties. It was private events organized through like-minded individuals who had the facility to hold these parties, to entertain a group,
Hmm.
small select groups, um, and all indulge in their kinky fun. It was quite widespread. The more I got into it, the more I looked into it, the more I started to learn and understand about the lifestyle. It was nationwide, but it was very much hidden. But there was an organised circuit of these house parties. When the internet started to become more prevalent, as we went into the 90s, the house parties were still in existence, and they used to advertise, their existence on some of the very, very first chat sites that went on there, the AOL things that came on, that after you had sat and listened to that hideous dial tone as your modem fired up and beeped and clattered at you, they started to appear. I think one of the very first rooms that I got to know was the basement in AOL chat rooms. There are people out there listening to this who will probably be nodding and going, oh yes, I remember that. And from that moment on, other websites appeared, all the alternative websites, and the UK party scene kind of drifted out of the limelight again, and I don't know whether it still exists as an organised setup. It's something that I need to look into. And it disappeared and the internet took over. I spoke with a Lady Dom friend of mine a couple of years ago, Lady T, lovely lady, and we actually talked about reintroducing a private party network to get this thing organised where people that have the facility, they could run a little house party. Obviously there are clubs now that cater for that, but there is nothing like the intimacy and adding an individual touch to a party at home. Certainly if you have a group of friends who are like-minded and you're all kinky and you want to do this thing out of the public eye, then it would be an entertaining way to do it, where you had an organisation turn up and convert one room of your home into a playroom, and everybody had a jolly old time. So it was something that we spoke about for a while. It would take some organisation. And if there's anybody out there that thinks that they could take this thing on, then talk to me, because I think it would be a giggle. If nothing else, it's...
So just a van driving to your house with equipment and...
Yes, you'd have... There are sources of equipment out there that all could be made. Even old Scribe could knock together a bench that can be collapsed or an A-frame that can be folded, having built these things before. So yes, it would be a case of turn up, you make a room available, all the equipment is laid on, maybe even some pretty subby girls to serve drinks and whatever, or pretty subby boys, depending on your taste. Get all excited, Patton. And all those girls listening out there, no, they're not going to be hunks. If I could find them, they certainly would be, but they are few and far between. So yes, it would turn up and away we went. It would make it a little bit different. Obviously keeping lots of smiles and making it as much fun as you can, but of course there is that element that when things get darker and the shadows start to go and people's arms get loosened up, and it takes on the full context of a play evening. So, but it's just an idea. It's another one of Scribe's fantasies that you think, yes, it could work, and it could work. I know it could work. I know it could be organised. But it's going to take an awful lot of time, and time is one of those things I don't have a great deal of at the moment, Patty.
Pretty busy.
Very busy, yes. So that is where we were in the past. It was the private network. But today, of course, we have the internet. So it has moved on.
And how did it work? I mean, would you get a phone call, hey, Saturday night is at...
Yes. Yes, you would.
Okay.
You'd be in touch with these people because it was all by phone in those days. They couldn't send emails or whatever. So yeah, you got a phone call and say there is a BDSM friendly small hotel in the Cotswolds or wherever it was. The cost would be £150 a head for the hotel for the weekend and food and blah blah blah. And did you fancy going? And it would be a case of yes or no. If it was at a private house, then it was a case of you would probably stock up with some alcohol, take what little bits of equipment that you had got that could be added into the mix, and away you went. And obviously a willing victim or partner to sit with you.
Victim.
Not exactly a victim. They were willing victims. There'd be lots of pouting and rolling of eyes, but it wasn't meant. It was all for show. So yes, that's how it would work. So we've moved on from there now, I think, with the organisation, and clubs are far more overt than they used to be. There were clubs, I understand, that operated very covertly, very quietly, but now, of course, they're advertised and you can find them, their listings on lots of places. So, and Birmingham, where I am based, is having a kinky weekend on the 14th, 15th, 16th of November. That is being widely advertised. There'll be events going on around Birmingham. So, of course, more and more people are now becoming aware that our world exists, which is a good thing. We've touched on that before. It is a good thing.
Oh, a question comes to my mind.
Go on.
Swinger clubs where
Yes.
people go. Is it a totally different world than the BDSM world, or does it overlap?
In some cases, there are overlaps. In others, not so much. The swinging world, and doubtless somebody will let me know if my take on this is wrong, is more about the sexual exploration and enjoying different partners. The BDSM world is not really about that, unless of course you are part of a poly relationship, or you like group scenes. It is not extensively about sex and multiple partners and swinging as swinging does. That's not really what it's about. It does happen, of course, but there are a few places where they have overlaps. They run swinging nights, they run lifestyle nights, they kind of cross over occasionally, but as a rule, I would say not.
Okay. Just for swinger clubs with all their equipment and rooms would be perfect for...
Yes, it would. And a lot of the old swinging clubs used to have lifestyle nights. One of the best places around in the Midlands was a club called Caesar's. Fantastic place. Went there loads of times. Met lots of people. It became a mainstay within the community. People travelled from far and wide to get there. It had its swinging nights. It had its lifestyle nights. Obviously, the facilities were there for both to use. They didn't close these areas off. There were playrooms. There were bedrooms. So you could cross over, but they utilised their club space for both events. And there are those that are still in existence now that are based around the country that have swinging nights and lifestyle nights. So the opportunity is there to cross over, but I don't think the swinging community is necessarily interested in BDSM and vice versa.
Okay.
Okay.
I just thought about the Guff club I went to when I was younger. They had once a month a paintball, they called it. Yeah, I always wanted to go and see what it is.
I've no idea what that is, Martin. No idea at all. If it comes on again, you'll have to let me know, and I shall send you equipped with a camera.
I don't think that's allowed.
I don't care. No, I do actually. It is important that privacy is is taken care of at these places. I was only teasing. Though when you go to some events, they will take pictures. They will ask. But generally not of play, not of intimacy, and they are normally selfie shots that people take. They're not officially released. As you say, photography is generally frowned upon in those type of environments. So I was only teasing for anybody before you start moaning and shouting at me. What else would you like to know, Patsy? We spoke briefly about the concept of whether being a dominant is something you are born with, or whether it can be learned. I get emails on a regular basis from people, male and female, asking if I can give them pointers on how they can become a dominant or a submissive, depending on their orientation. My own personal views on that probably differ from an awful lot of people, in the fact that while domination can be learned, you have to have something in you that enables you to take that extra step. Let me give you an example.
Yes, please.
If you have a loving couple, they're in a long-term relationship or whatever, and they have deep feelings for each other. She gives the indication that she would like to experience things that she's read about in all these books and upcoming movies and all sorts of things. It makes her twitch of an evening thinking about it and fuels her naughty dreams. So she voices the fact that she would like to try these things. So he goes out and finds a website, types in www.whatittakes-to-become-a-dominant.com and reads through all the literature, and he says, yes, this is this, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't cover the mindset. It doesn't cover that point where you need to cross from being a loving partner to being a dominant. Every true dominant that I have ever met has that ability to turn that off. There is a saying by the Marquis de Sade I'll paraphrase because I can't quote it, that to show true desire or true love for the object of your desire, one must first be able to inflict pain. Somebody doubtless will come and fire up and give you the true quote. There will be a point where if she wishes to experience pain, wishes to experience that point where the endorphins and the adrenaline kicks in, that you will be inflicting pain of some sort. And at that point, you need to stop worrying. Not about how much harm you're doing it, but you're worrying about the effects of your actions, because you are deliberately causing an effect. To be able to turn the mind off and to do that with somebody that you care about is an ability that I believe is inherent in your personality. You are born with it. Because I have seen it many, many times where you get couples that have come into the lifestyle. He wants to be dominant, or she wants to be dominant, it's the other way around, whatever. And they've gone to a club, an event, they've gone into the play, and one of them wields a flogger, it lands, there's an impact, there's a slap, they go ow, and everything suddenly stops. Oh, you okay? Oh, I'm sorry, was that too hard? And you can see the immediate concern appear, and then you can see the submissive body check, yeah, I'm fine, just carry on.
But don't you think that's just a bit of insecurity because they haven't done it enough of
Possibly.
times and don't have the experience to...
But it still becomes prevalent, Patty. You see it, every time. As a dominant, you need to have that switch inside you, where it is not what you are doing, it is how you are doing how you are doing what you are doing becomes the focus. There is a lot of talk about subspace, about the place that submissives go into, where the endorphin high, the adrenaline high, the emotional high takes them to a different place. I can't speak about that personally because I'm not submissive and I haven't experienced it. But there is also what is called a dom drop, because you have been so focused on what you are doing. Concentration is so intense on your actions that when it all finishes, it is like a down, because you have been completely focused on what you're doing. And to do that, of course, it's not so much about the emotional attachment that you have to the submissive. Doubtless people are going to tell me that I'm wrong, but I don't care. You have to have a detachment from the emotional side to be able to do what you are doing to the best of your ability. You cannot just hit somebody. There are ways and means that you can hurt somebody very badly if you do it wrong. There are certain areas of the body that it is not recommended that you hit in certain ways. So concentration is everything. And the ability to inflict pain on the object of your desire is not one that people can just say, yeah, I can do that. I guarantee anybody out there that's listening, if you think you can do that, if you think that, I can inflict pain on my wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, you will find it's something completely different. It does not work like that. And that is what I would say is a part that you need. You need that. Call it a gene, call it a character flaw, call it a defect, call it whatever it is that you want. To be a true dominant, that needs to be present. And I do not believe that can be learned. You can be taught technique, you can be taught protocol, you can be taught etiquette, you can be taught all of that. But that little something, that edge of darkness, those shadows, I talk about shadows a great deal because most people have them, but very few people can actually act on them. Lots of people have an edge of darkness in them, but they keep it in check. There are times where that needs to come out, and it is the ability to actually do that, to let them run, to let that darkness go and do what is needed to take the object of your desire to a different place. That is not something you can learn. I do not believe. I think that needs to be in you. Personal opinion. Anybody who disagrees, put it on a postcard, send it to I don't really care. I shouldn't really say that. No, I'm open to anybody. If somebody comes up with a theory or thoughts,
yes, I mean, they can put it in the comments. I will read them.
Yes, and I will take note. If they have an explanation or they have their own opinion that is different from mine, and I can see that it is a coherent argument and it has been put together with some thought, then I will take it on board. I am the first person to put my hands up and say, okay, I was wrong. We need to do that in a different way, or I need to rethink that. Or, okay, you got me, I made a mistake. I'm the first person to put my hands up to do that. So don't be shy if you have something to say, but please, 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 don't rant, don't use profanities, don't just spout something and don't back it up with a coherent argument, because we'll just remove you.
Yes.
Yes, we will. Well, you will, won't you, Patty?
Of course.
Thank you.
Well, we looked at a few interesting topics today, and it was nice as always.
My pleasure, Patty. It's lovely here talking with you. I hope people take something out of it or just enjoy listening. And I look forward to talking with you again. And hopefully we'll have some more topics that will keep people interested and get some responses flowing through. And we can expand on any subject that people want to talk about or they wish to hear about.
Yes, I don't think we will go out of topics in the next time.
No.
So many interesting things.
Yes, we will. We'll find something that is interesting for the next time, which will be, I would imagine, a week today. Yes, Patty?
Yes. We'll
Look forward to that, though.
Me too. So see you the next time when I ask you a lot of questions.
Okay, Patty. Look forward to it. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.